Before Mamoru Oshii achieved fame through his work on the cyberpunk classic Ghost in the Shell, he wrote and directed the film Angel's Egg in 1985. While it didn't receive much attention after its release, it has since then been cited as a staple of artistic anime and even surrealist cinema as a whole. The film follows a girl who wakes up in an abandoned city and explores it while carrying around an egg underneath her dress. There she meets an enigmatic man whose origins and identity are unknown. Together they traverse the city. If you felt that synopsis was far too simplistic and short, you are correct. There isn't much of a story to speak of in Angel's Egg. The story lies in the emotions it evokes with its cinematography, artwork, music, voice acting, and symbolism. Angel's Egg is in equal parts unnerving and peaceful. It leaves a haunting aftertaste as it constantly worms its way into your mind until it becomes a part of you, an aspect of yourself that you couldn't quite explain until this film entered your life. There is a reason for this. Despite the abstraction of Angel's Egg, I've been able to piece together the so-called meaning through the symbolism. I say so-called because everyone else will interpret the film in a different way, based on the context of their own lives. For this reason, I recommend you not watch this video if you haven't seen the film. The basis of Angel's Egg is actually a simple storytelling motif that we see all through history and across all cultures. This is the idea of someone, most of the time a young girl, traveling through their own psyche. This is often visually represented as another world, one that reflects aspects of a character's subconscious. In this way, Angel's Egg isn't so different from Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, or Where the Wild Things Are. The desolation and loneliness of the world in Angel's Egg is a reflection of what the girl has been experiencing in her real life. What we're seeing during the film is nothing but the girl's own introspection. Yet another popular archetype appears in the beginning, the dark forest, which represents the unconscious mind or the unknown. We may not realize it, but we've seen this idea used so many times that our own subconscious automatically relates forests with a dive into the unknown and a subsequent transformation of self. This archetype has been around for a long time, as we even see it used in fairy tales and ancient literature. Take this oft-quoted first line from Dante's The Divine Comedy. In the middle of our walk of life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. The egg for which the film is named is an interesting symbol itself. Unsurprisingly, eggs are usually used to represent fertility or rebirth. In the context of Angel's Egg, the egg is a symbol of the faith that the girl is hoping to see again someday in its full glory. This is the first time her beliefs have ever been challenged, and she's adamant about holding on to them. The aforementioned themes of Angel's Egg are further solidified by the prominence of water through the entirety of the film. Have you ever tried to hold water in the palms of your hands? It all just slides through your fingers, doesn't it? In the same way, the girl is trying to comprehend her universe, but as hard as she tries, her mind simply can't entertain that thought for too long. It goes against everything she previously believed, and it strips meaning not just from her life, but from the lives and deaths of loved ones. As she collects the water in jars and jugs, she's collecting smaller pieces of the unknown in order to make them easier to digest. She's often looking through the jars as if she's trying to see something, but she only finds a slightly warped version of her own reality. She can't bear not having answers, and so she keeps on searching. The man, the only other character in Angel's Egg, is not quite his own character. He is actually an extension of the girl herself. He is the part of her that resides in the subconscious, and he is the part of her that knows that the universe is nothing but chaos. This is a portrayal of a girl's hopeful innocence reckoning with an ever-growing, nihilistic worldview. In the few sentences of dialogue between the girl and the man, there are more important hints as to the nature of this film. A certain line is repeated by the girl many times, and it pays off in one of the film's best scenes. She asks this of the man many times. She is struggling in figuring out her identity and perspective. Eventually,
君は誰だい?
In this moment, we realize that she's been asking herself this question the whole time. The man also has these two important lines.
大切なものはお腹の中に入れておかなければなくしてしまうよ。その卵の中には何が入ってるのかな？
そんなこと教えられないわ。だって私、あなたを知らないもの。
卵は割ってみなければその中に何が入っているのかわからないものだよ。
The first line is telling the girl that accepting the purposelessness of the universe isn't a completely hopeless affair. You still get to have things in your life that matter to you, but instead you decide them, rather than leaving it all up to some all-powerful force. In fact, he is suggesting that it's better to decide important things for yourself, or else it will be easier to lose your path. The second line is referencing how the girl is clinging to something that might not even exist. He's saying that if she can't get the guts to break open the egg, she will always be blindly protecting it, and eventually it will only weigh her down. Lastly, the warped story of Noah's Ark is akin to what the girl has gone through in questioning her faith. A bird is sent out and the people on the ark wait and wait, yet the bird never returns. The bird is another important motif, not just in the Ark story, but in the entirety of Angel's Egg. Birds are representative of hope and of connection with God. The girl assumes that the bird, her spiritual connection, is still intact within the egg, and that one day it will hatch and her faith will bring good fortune. The other part of her, the man, knows that the bird will not hatch, and it hurts him to watch her constantly fooling herself into believing otherwise.
私が見つけたの。あれはもう石になってるけど、この中にいるの。私が温めて返すの。私が見つけた鳥よ。
知っていたよ。きっとそうだと思っていたよ。
In the end, a decision is made. The man breaks the egg to reveal there was nothing inside of it. When the girl realizes that everything that has given meaning to her up to this point doesn't even exist, we are introduced to a moment of pure, utter misery. The girl is then submerged beneath the unknown, and underneath that weight, she finally accepts the meaninglessness of everything. At this point, she grows up, or transforms, as the dark woods of the beginning suggested she would, and she releases all the other hopeful beliefs she's held onto in the form of smaller eggs. Then, the innocent childish part of herself is lost, leaving behind only the nihilistic man. What's left behind of her looks back at what she used to be, wistful of how easy it had been in childhood. Yet the white feathers make an appearance here and change how this scene can be viewed. The white feather is a common symbol in all of Oshi's films, and here it represents that the man is at peace with everything that's happened. The joint character of the girl and the man now get to forge their own meaning, and they have a morbid comfort with that notion. The way I saw it, Angel's Egg is the internal struggle of someone who is being drawn away from their blind faith and made to confront a meaningless reality. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing is not made clear in the film. It is mostly for the viewer to decide for themselves. Either way, it deals with an issue that has terrified humankind for centuries, the existence of things we can't explain and never will. Overall, I think the suggestion is that it's okay to not know. In fact, does it even really matter? What's wrong with accepting that some things just don't have an answer? Do you have any different interpretations of this work? If so, I would love to hear them in the comments. Please like and/or subscribe if you enjoyed the video.